Before we get started on tonight's video, which if you can see by the description bar and the video you clicked on, we're actually going to be talking NXT and Smackdown, given the fact that Raw is tonight, which of course means this is the Monday video, even though it's being filmed on Sunday night about 9 p.m. And obviously, the world and everyone that I've talked to on Facebook and Twitter, and the world is pretty much completely saddened by the sudden passing of Philip Seymour Hoffman. And if anybody knows me personally or has gotten to know me throughout these almost 600 videos I've posted, where back when we first started this channel, before it became pop and then after it became pop on May 1st of last year, you would know that Philip Seymour Hoffman is one of my favorite actors, not just now, but of all time. He's one of the best character actors that exists in film history, to be totally honest. And I found out about his passing. They apparently found him in his Manhattan apartment earlier today. He was only 46 years old. I mean, it's just so many things come to my mind. Obviously, there has been so many deaths in the world of entertainment, and needless deaths that could have been prevented if it wouldn't have been for maybe a cry for help that was heard a little bit quicker than it could have been. I know that he was trying to get his life back on track. I know he went back to rehab in May of last year, and obviously he was finishing Mockingjay, which the second one's already done. This third one, of course, he was working on that filming. And apparently he's actually got a movie that he was getting ready to direct. And that, obviously, I mean, so many things right now just going through my mind, and I don't really have many words just to say that he'll definitely be missed. And don't worry, there will be a guarantee that actually we will be filming a retrospective of Philip Seymour Hoffman's career here on Pop. AJ and myself are going to be doing a video tribute to Hoffman on Thursday. It's what it looks like. That's going to be up on the channel right now. So it may be up late Thursday or later Thursday, because obviously we're watching The Monuments Men on Thursday night, but rest assured it will be up here, and we will be talking about his filmography and give him a fitting tribute that he truly deserves. So, I just wanted to get the solemnness. I have to start off with a sad note, and that's just how it is sometimes. Sometimes Will likes to say life gets in the way, and sometimes that's very true. But besides that, it's been a very weird day, actually. I actually spent all of Sunday watching a lot of Brad Jones on That Guy with the Glasses. And I'm not watching the Cinema Snob. I mean, obviously, we review movies, and I did watch his Best and Worst of the Year, and I agree with a lot of the things. I disagree with some of the things as well. And that's going to be the way that things are when you do a top 10 list or a top anything list. You're going to agree and disagree with the content. That being said, I wasn't watching any of his movie content. I was actually watching his Brad Tries. Why? Because it's really entertaining to watch Brad Jones drink random soda that he found in his basement. It's quite enjoyable. And if you get a chance to check it out, it's the Cinema Snob website. That's where you can find it out, which you can find all of his videos. It's thecinemasnob.com, which of course is his personal site. And, excuse me, sinuses. As you well know with this flip-flopping weather here, you can check out his Brad Tries and the Cinema Snob and any of his great videos, or just go to That Guy with the Glasses and check them out as well. Obviously, they don't need the put-over, but I enjoy the content on the channel, and I really hope people do as well. Just like I hope people enjoy the content here on Pop. And that being said, I've got a couple of things I want to bring up. As a matter of fact, I talked to AJ today, and we had a nice long conversation, obviously. We were talking about the passing of Philip Seymour Hoffman, and we got to talking, and we got down to an idea, and brainstorming ended up bringing us to a conclusion. That's how I know that we're doing the video. We're doing the Philip Seymour Hoffman tribute video on Thursday. On top of that, we're actually going to be bringing some new segments here to Pop in the next couple of months. After award season is over, after the Oscars are finished on the 2nd, and on the 3rd we do the recap, when the award season is completely said and done, we are going to start 2 new segments, 2 new weekly segments, and one that's going to be a segment after a segment. I'm not going to say anything further than that. I'm just going to say that stay tuned, because there's going to be some really interesting things coming to Pop in 2014, just like I predicted that it would be. Also, Sunday was also the day that the Horror Nights Updaters did their first official video. And if you don't know the Horror Nights Updaters, it's UKHHN, my friend John, Psycho Massacre Films, Dr. Emmett Brown 1, aka Vic, and Deadly Fear. Deadly Fear, trying to figure out your gimmick from here. I'm so sorry if I get it wrong. Anyway, these are Halloween Horror Nights updaters, and they basically provide information on Halloween Horror Nights. Like I said, I got to hang out with Psycho Massacre Films last year at Horror Nights, and it was phenomenal. I'm really looking forward to doing that this year. So, since everyone knows I'm going to be spending the opening weekend of Halloween Horror Nights on Universal property, which is strange in its own right, I will be saying also that I'm going to be hanging out with the Horror Nights Updaters somewhere down that line as well. So that's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to that. Really excited about that, actually. Excuse me. Now, that's out of the way. Housekeeping's out of the way. And it's obviously 9:13 on a Sunday evening. Been a long night. Woke up this morning and snow completely gone. Like, we didn't even have anything. This afternoon, apparently, started snowing. Now it's covered. Hopefully, the salt trucks are going to be out, like, soon. Or they're going to cancel school, which, of course, I'm not a proponent of. But then again, doesn't really matter in this case, because if they cancel school, they might bring me in. And that means more hours for Suro and Disney. And that is a good thing. Especially the fact that I did this video tonight instead of doing it Monday morning or Monday afternoon, due to the fact that I don't know if they will call me in or not, because I'm very dependable, and obviously I have been known to be called in the past, as you guys and girls out there well know. So because of that factor, I decided to film this video tonight just in case they call me in to work. That being said, we're going to do something I haven't done in quite a while. I actually took a break, and TNA Impact, I actually talked about Impact the other night on Saturday. And I know what you're asking yourselves, oh, and didn't NXT and Smackdown used to be on Saturday? And I was like, well, yeah, they did. And things are going to have to change. Why? Because when the WWE Network starts, NXT will be shown on Thursday nights. Thursday nights obviously mean that they're going to have to be separate videos. And that means that maybe NXT and SmackDown will not be going together every week. I don't know. I haven't quite decided yet. I might be reviewing it live or that night, or I might just wait until SmackDown and just do it later in the weekend. Get a NXT and SmackDown video out, again, Saturday if I can. But we've got these new segments coming out, so those are going to take precedence as well. Now, one of the new segments is coming on, it looks like Wednesday at this point. And there's a chance that one may be coming on potentially Monday or maybe Saturday. I haven't quite got that down yet, but we've got some good stuff coming. And I also have some brand new verses to talk about soon as well. We've been brainstorming about that. So, that being said, I talked about Impact the other day, so I'm going to talk about NXT and SmackDown tonight. And obviously, I missed several weeks of NXT and SmackDown. I'm sorry about that, like I said, in the Impact recap that some of you out there watched. When it comes down to it, of course, it's award season. It takes precedence over everything. That being said, obviously, I haven't had a chance to devote as much time to the secondary shows as much as I would like to. I've kept up on my Raw recaps. I'm sure you guys know that. And I'll continue to do that. And I've kept up with pay-per-view recaps, except for obviously December, because December was a different story. I was actually flying home when I was, when TLC was, so I missed it. Actually, no, TLC was when I was staying right at the end of the trip. It was like the day before I was flying back. So, needless to say, I missed that. And January I did the Royal Rumble, and I'm going to do the Elimination Chamber in February, and of course I'm getting the WWE Network on February 24th. Looking very much forward to be able to watch old WCW and old ECW. Really excited about that, and hopefully I'll get some Georgia Championship Wrestling, get some Smoky Mountain, get some World Class. I don't know if Vince owns the GWF library, but I'd love to see that stuff too. That'd be awesome. Old AWA footage, maybe some USWA footage. That'd be really cool too. That being said, this is our NXT and Smackdown recap, 10 minutes in. So if you guys know by now, I kind of do a little housekeeping before videos start. I didn't realize I'd go for 10 and a half minutes. But let's start it off. So this NXT is going to start off with a tag team match. It was basically a one-sided squash match with the NXT Tag Team Champions Connor and Victor, the Ascension, taking on the team of Mike Colari and John Icarino. So yeah. So Victor with a single arm suplex on Mike, 1-2 and a kick out. Mike breaks it up with a jawbreaker, tagging to John. John comes in, gets clotheslined out of his boots by Victor, tagging to Connor and whip in. Connor gets on the middle turnbuckle, comes off with a huge clothesline. Tag Victor back in. He knocks Mike off the apron for good measure, of course, and they nail the fall of man on Icarino for the 1-2-3. And apparently, they don't like Ike. So that was all she wrote. I'll give it up to the commentators in this case because they said the NXT Tag Team division have been virtually non-existent since the Ascension have applied their scorched earth policy. So yeah, like I said, the Ascension have had no competition. And I talked about bringing the primetime players in. Yeah, that's not going to happen now. And, like the shirt. But you got to bring someone in. You can't bring the Usos in because they're obviously getting pushed. Who knows? Still, the Ascension need to have somebody to feud with. Obviously, we play up the fact that they worked with the American Wolves, and look where they are now. They're now working in TNA. So, they're basically making a challenge out to any tag team. I think this would be the time to start trying to sign some indie tag teams to go after the Ascension and do something at this point. You got to do something right now because right now you don't have a team that could go after. Like I said, Tons of Funk was an idea. They're broken up too. So you take any of the tag teams that Owen came up with to go against the Ascension and you break them up. So, spoiler alert for later on in this video, one of them is broken up already. One is about to. We'll talk about that in a minute. So yeah. So, ever since all his charges have left him, Alexander Rusev and Scott Dawson and Garrett Dillon, everybody's gone. Sylvester Laforte's looking for a new charge. A new person to lead his Legionnaires, obviously. So basically, he's doing a talent search. So, Cal Bishop shows up, and he basically says that you're not good enough. Why would I bring you to television with your ears the way they are? Obviously, they're cauliflowered from his many years of collegiate wrestling. So, it dismisses him. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. I thought that was a one-off. There's not going to be anything. Sylvester Lafort continues to look for a charge. And I'll do this out of order, because I can. Later on in the show, he runs into Sawyer Fulton. And basically, Fulton has been in developmental since 2012. And as a matter of fact, he has actually been on NXT before. Him and Travis Tyler lost to the Wyatt family on May 29th. That's a review. It's actually on this channel. And Fulton goes for a handshake, and he just won't let go. And basically, he gets dismissed. Slowly, he lets go and walks away. Well, the final piece of that puzzle was the fact that, of course, the talent search continues, Laforte's standing there, and all of a sudden, here comes Mason Ryan. So he's like, yeah, I like this idea. It's like, Mason Ryan, are you auditioning? He's like, yeah, you can kind of say that. I'll join you if you can beat me next week, one-on-one. So, yeah. What I'm thinking that's going to happen is, I say he loses, obviously. I say Mason Ryan wins, and I think Sawyer Fulton is going to be the new charge of Sylvester Lafort in NXT. And I have no issues with this because he's a big guy, and obviously, Mason Ryan is a big guy. So two big guys going at it, No issue with this whatsoever, especially since Colin Cassidy's got his hands full with the artiste Aiden English, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. So, Corey Graves, who's pretty much been a man without an island lately, since, of course, he lost to Adrian Neville, and he got injured for a bit, he comes back, and he basically gets in the ring, cuts a promo, and says, "Forgiveness is the coward's way out of a fight. Adrian Neville tried to end my career. I'll never forgive him for that. But I have a message, a different message to everyone. Everyone in the NXT locker room, everyone in the WWE. Stay tuned." Interesting. Now, I would be the first to say that Corey Graves could be a big deal for WWE. Now, I'm not going to be the one to say Corey Graves could be the next CM Punk. He's got the straight edge deal, I get that. He likes to ruffle feathers. He's not really big on authority. But the issue with this is, you have CM Punk, who of course I haven't mentioned my thoughts on that yet. I'll do that later. And then you have Corey Graves. Completely different when you really think about it. But, if put over properly, WWE could utilize him as not a replacement for Punk, but somebody that the fans might be able to buy into in time. Then again, the NXT crowd doesn't buy into him as much as they used to, so who knows. He gets in action next against Camacho, and of course Camacho rides out on the bling bling gold lowrider bicycle. William Regal gets a nice comment on commentary basically saying something to the extent of, "Don't let the bicycle fool you, he knows what he's doing in the ring." Well, a toss into the ropes and a clothesline on Corey Graves. He goes for a Samoan drop and he lands on his feet, does Graves, powders to the floor, and Camacho tries to attack as he gets back in the ring. Corey grabs his foot and does an inverted dragon screw leg whip through the ropes. Locks on Lucky 13, and Camacho has to give it up. So a one-sided match there for Corey Graves. Basically saying that Graves is still in it to win it, and he means business, and to watch out for him in 2014. I'll go on record and say right now, 2014 is the year of Corey Graves in NXT, and I think that's the right direction to go. Especially when Adrian Neville takes the NXT Championship off Bo Dallas during the first NXT broadcast on the network. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. I think that's going to be the feud. And I think after Sami Zayn and Antonio Cesaro have their feud, Sami Zayn's going to get interjected into that storyline as well. And again, that's the right thing to do. Speaking of Antonio Cesaro, Devin Taylor's in the back with Cesaro, and basically Cesaro puts over to the fact that Sami Zayn wants another match against him, and he just scoffs it off, says, Sami Zayn won't take no for an answer. I already beat him once. What do I have to gain from facing him again? He can't beat me at his best. What makes him think he can beat me on one leg? Because obviously he's on crutches right now. He says, I have better things to do than this, and just bombs out. So Sami Zayn, later on in the show, says he wants Antonio Cesaro to tell him face-to-face, man-to-man, that he is not going to face him in the ring. So it'll be interesting to see where we go with that. Sami Zayn, Antonio Cesaro 3? Yes, please. I'm totally down with that. I do want to see them face off again, because those matches are phenomenal. So, yeah, I did this so out of order. I don't know what direction I'm in. So, let's go to our next match of the evening. It's the quirky Bayley with Natalya in her corner taking on the boss herself, Sasha Banks, with the gorgeous Summer Rae and Charlotte, the BFFs, in her corner. So, Sasha locks on a straight jacket chin lock, which is basically Shane Helms' crossface halo. And her shoulders are down to the canvas. Are Bayley's 1-2, and she does a back bridge out of it and breaks up the pin attempt. She goes back to the Halo choke, and Bayley just completely flips her off. Charges in, Bayley catches her with a back elbow, charges in, 2 elbows in succession, charges in, there's a clothesline and the spinning back elbow. Bayley's got her on the ropes right now. So she goes to the middle rope, Charlotte jumps up on the ring apron, Natty pulls her off, Summer Rae jumps Natty. This distracts Bayley just long enough to get rolled up from behind from Sasha Banks. 1-2 and a kick out, and she gets caught with a hugplex, and that's all she wrote. Bayley wins this match. after Emma goes to the main roster, after Paige goes to the main roster, I really think that NXT is going to build the women's division around Bayley, and I really think that's a good idea at this point. Having her get the rub off of working with someone like Natalya, and eventually she's going to end up working with someone like an Alicia Fox, who obviously I don't like, but someone that's still on the WWE roster right now, or maybe Oksana, and which I'm pretty sure she's worked in the past. Actually, I believe I've reviewed matches of them in the past. Bayley's going to be a cornerstone of the NXT women's division once Emma and Paige go to WWE. And I still think right now she is a cornerstone of the division. I like the quirky style she has. She's very bubbly, no pun intended to Emma. I really think that they could do something with Bayley. And of course, this storyline with the BFFs will continue. I'd say Bayley, Natty, and someone else to take on the BFFs down the road. I would say Paige or Emma, but actually Emma makes most sense given the fact that Summer Rae is a member of the BFFs, and they're kind of had a little altercation on SmackDown this week, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. So yeah, I think it's going to be Bayley, I think it's going to be Emma, and I think it's going to be Natalya against the BFFs. That match will be coming to NXT sooner rather than later, and I know what you're asking, oh, and it may have already happened, and my response is, well, I don't want to know if it already happened because I don't read spoilers when it comes to NXT. If it doesn't happen on television, has not happened yet. So, we get another match. Big Cass, Colin Cassidy, taking on Tyler Breeze, Prince Pretty himself. So, before the match starts, Tyler Breeze comes out and does the selfies around ringside like he likes to do. And Big Cass basically grabs a cell phone from a fan at ringside, and he starts mocking Tyler Breeze, taking selfies of his own, making the crowd chant, "This is awesome." It was really funny, actually. So the bell sounds. Prince Pretty is a little bit peeved at this point. Wow, there's a lot of P's in there. And that bell hits, and Tyler with a boot in the corner, working over the big man, and two big right hands right to the face, right to the moneymaker, drops Tyler Breeze, makes a cover, 1 count only. Big overhand right, and the SAWFT soft club to the back, and a big-time scoop slam. Comes off the ropes, the big-time elbow, great elevation, 1-2, and a kick out. Comes off the ropes, huge big boot, 1-2, and a kick out. Of course, he's getting ready to put away Tyler Breeze, and then Aiden English, the artiste, comes on the Tron, and he basically says, "You like to call yourself a certified G? Well, everyone's a G until an artiste walks in the room." And what is he doing? He is standing at a doorway, and when he opens the door, there's Enzo Amore, and of course, still convalescing from his broken leg in his wheelchair, and the door shuts, and we don't know what happened. This allows for Big Cass to get caught with a beauty shot. 1, 2, 3, and Tyler Breeze wins this match. So Cassidy runs to the back to help save his friend. He finds Enzo in his wheelchair. He basically says that he was intimidated by Aiden English, and they go back and forth with a lot of comedic routine, and he's like, "I'm not here to play games." He's like, "Maybe I'm here to play Boulder Dash or Connect 4. He says Connect 4 like 3 times. And every time he mentions a board game, he's basically saying, "How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?" And of course, he gets stopped by Colin Cassidy. He's like, "Why you saying how you doing?" And he basically says, "Who attacks a guy in a wheelchair? Anybody that intimidates a guy in a wheelchair is SAWFT." And he gets ready to say soft, and Big Cass stops him and says it really quietly. Very intense from Big Cass there. Definitely still on that collision course with Aiden English that was started when Aiden English lost that sing-off a couple weeks ago in NXT. I don't have a problem with this because I didn't think anything of Big Cass when he first came in to NXT. When I first saw him with Enzo Amore, I thought Amore was the talent, and I thought that Big Cass was the muscle, kind of like Robbie E and Robbie T in TNA. But completely different here because Big Cass actually can work, Big Cass actually has charisma, and he's actually not bad on the mic either. So, needless to say, I don't have a problem with this continuing, and eventually when Enzo Amore is able to come back to action, I'm sure Aiden English is going to have somebody under his wing by that point. Maybe a Crow? Maybe Solomon Crow? Something to think about. Now, I just said under the wing, so to say Crow. Yeah, Sami Callihan, obviously, who I've yet to see debut in NXT. If he has debuted, he debuted on a show I did not recap, so there you go. So apparently last week, something I did not see at all, because obviously I haven't watched NXT in a bit. When it comes down to it, I did not know that CJ Parker beat The Miz. So there's this match, and it's The Miz against CJ Parker, and of course CJ Parker has the distinction of being the superstar NXT fans need to be cheering. He does everything he can to get cheered, but they don't like the Moonchild. Full Sail hates the Moonchild. You might as well just turn him heel. But how do you turn a hippie heel? Come on. Didn't work for Van Hammer. It's not going to work for CJP. So, let's talk about this match. Miz gets a nice pop, even though he's, I don't know if he's a heel or a face anymore. I don't think he knows at this point. So, we get a whip in. Miz with a tip up, comes off the ropes, big clothesline, sends CJ Parker down, and a chop, and the 10 punch in the corner, stopped at 7 with an inverted atomic drop, which gets blocked by The Miz, and a nice standing drop kick sends CJP to the floor. Sliding drop kick through the ropes by The Miz, tosses him back in, he does the slide in sunset flip 1-2, and a kick out. Ducks the side kick from Parker, and he goes for the figure 4. Parker kicks him off and nails him with that side kick. 1-2, Miz kicks out. Charges in with the shotgun knees, and he looks like he's going to try to finish the Miz off, and he goes with a stack-up pin. 1-2, and a kick out. So, chin lock is locked on. And a snapmare. 1-2, and again Miz kicks out. So he goes with the chin lock again. Elbow out by The Miz, boot in the midsection, comes off the ropes, and the rebound clothesline, ducks the clothesline, and then the reverse DDT into the backbreaker, into the old school expulsion, 1-2 and a kick out, charges in, boot gets caught, and dragon screw leg whip by The Miz. Yeah, I never thought I'd say that either, and I'm a Miz fan. 2 elbows to the kneecap, and he kicks off the figure 4 attempt, and he charges in, catches the back elbow, goes up top, and he rolls through the flying body press attempt, locks on the figure 4, and Parker taps, so The Miz wins this match. It's okay. Parker gets a nice rub from being in the ring with The Miz. Miz showing a lot of skills that he can set up the figure 4 better now. Even though I still believe that The Miz should not be using the figure 4, he should be using the skull crushing finale, which is a lot better and believable finisher for The Miz. So, we get to our final segment of the evening. And, yeah, a lot of action on this NXT. Renee Young comes out to proceed over the official contract signing between Adrian Neville and Bo Dallas for their NXT Championship matchup on the first NXT to be broadcast on the WWE Network. So, Neville comes out for the contract signing, calls out Bo Dallas, his music plays, he's not there, music plays, not there. So Neville signs the contract, and basically this brings Bo Dallas out, in his gear, mind you. And he says, "I'm not scared of you like you may think. Simply, I'm sick and tired of you. I will sign on my own terms. So why don't you get a chair, sit right back, and let me show you why I'm the champion." So Danny Burch, of all people, comes out, and we're going to have a match, actually, main event NXT, between Bo Dallas and Danny Burch. So the bell sounds, and Bo Dallas works away with a knee in the corner, stiff short arm elbow right to the side of the neck on 3 separate times, and a short arm clothesline lays out Danny Burch. So basically, Burch fights off momentarily with a forearm and right hands, whip in reverse, and a big, huge forearm elbow combination on Danny Burch. He nails him with a snap double underhook DDT and gets the 3 count. So after the match is over, Bo wants the contract. Neville grabs it, gets in the ring, stares him down. Bo signs the contract, and Bo nails him from behind with the microphone, gets out of the ring thinking he got the upper hand. He gets nailed from behind by a tope, and he pounds away, and they brawl all the way to the back, and that's the end of NXT this week. Okay. So let's talk about what we've got here. Decent show. Too many squash matches for my taste. The Ascension have no competition. Even the commentators say they have no competition. And I'll say this, they also have no competition. It's ridiculous. They really need to do something with them. Bring them anybody at this point. Sylvester Lefort is eventually going to manage Sawyer Fulton when Mason Ryan beats him next week on NXT. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what's going to happen. Corey Graves basically tells everyone to watch. Keep watching. Stay tuned. The best is yet to come. Sami Zayn and Antonio Cesaro still on a collision course, even though Cesaro will not accept the rematch. We have Tyler Breeze get a victory in a match where basically it was about a storyline, and the storyline between Big Cass and Aiden English, that continues. This time they brought Enzo Amore into the situation. Bayley gets an upset over Sasha Banks, continuing that storyline. CJ Parker loses to The Miz, big shock there. And in the contract signing, Bo Dallas tried to get the upper hand, and he got attacked for his trouble. So yeah, we're building towards Adrian Neville and Bo Dallas on the first showing of NXT on the WWE Network on February 27th, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So, real quick, before I get started with SmackDown, I will say that this was done out of order. I'm sorry about that. I watched it out of order. I guess it's the copy I had was out of order. Sorry, I watched it on YouTube. Basically, I didn't feel like messing with my DVR tonight, and I just wanted to watch the show, just all the segments on the show, and the copy I watched was French, I believe. So, the opening segment with the Shield actually was the second thing I got to see, instead of the first. So, yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Starting off the show, SmackDown kicks off, at least my version, with an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. It's the show-off Dolph Ziggler taking on Antonio Cesaro of the Real Americans. This match was awesome, awesome, awesome. So Cesaro with a butterfly suplex, 1-2, Dolph kicks out, and he comes off the ropes. Cesaro with a huge clothesline sends Dolph over the top rope to the floor. He goes out to attack and continue the beating, and he picks up Dolph in a military press and drops him chest first across the barricade, goes to toss him back in, but he thinks against it, gets back in the ring, and lets Dolph just suck up wind on the floor, and he beats the count at 9. Cesaro makes a cover, 1-2, Dolph kicks out, pushes him into the ropes, and he locks on the Edelweiss into a stiff sleeper hold, a Swiss sleeper on Dolph. And Dolph elbows his way out, and he goes for his charging splash in the corner. He finds nothing but the buckle. Cesaro does something really amazing that we don't see happen very often, but it was spectacular. Okay, picture this. Dolph is outside the ring, and he is, at this point, climbing up the ring apron. Cesaro gets on the middle turnbuckle, leans over, grabs Dolph in a front face lock, and superplexes him from the outside back in the ring. Tremendous strength from the Swiss strongman. And for any of you guys that doubt Antonio Cesaro's strength, watch this. Granted, Ziggler's not the size of a heavyweight, or not the size of a Mark Henry or a Brock Lesnar, but it's still impressive to see someone do that. That's deadlift strength. That's Cesaro's strength right there. So, he goes for a cover, 1-2, kick out. Goes for a deeper cover, 1-2, again kick out. So, he locks on a modified camel clutch. And he takes him down. He locks back in the chin lock into the sleeper. And Dolph breaks it again, this time with a jawbreaker. So, he ducks the clothesline. Dolph nails him with a dropkick, 1-2, and Cesaro kicks out. He goes for a whip, blocked. He goes for a whip, blocked again. 2 stiff forearms from Cesaro, whip in, gets caught, satellite head scissors takeover into the sleeper yet again. Cesaro counters into the gut wrench suplex and sends him into the ropes. He goes for Swiss Death, the very European uppercut in this case. When he tosses him up in the air, Dolph transitions into the exclamation point DDT, dropping Cesaro right on top of his head. 1-2 and a kick out. Cesaro getting up to his feet. Dolph goes for the zigzag. And usually the guy just swats him away. This is the genius of Antonio Cesaro. He grabs onto the ropes. And basically the power of grabbing on the ropes just lets him completely get knocked off and take a vicious bump. This leads up to the giant swing. He does 7 revolutions. Neck crank. Got style neutralizer, that's all she wrote. Antonio Cesaro officially in the Elimination Chamber, and might I say it's about time. Especially since I've been championing Antonio Cesaro since day one. So, yeah, I'm really happy to see this. So, we get our next segment, which apparently was the first segment of the show, and I'm just going to paraphrase here. The Shield come out, and they're mad they're not in the Elimination Chamber. Ambrose says they're made for it. Everybody knows if one of them were win, they would win. So Roman Reigns basically says he'd be the one that would be victorious. He argues with Ambrose a bit about tossing him over the top and trying to toss him over the top. And Seth Rollins plays Peacemaker yet again. And he basically says, guys, you have to understand here. No more infighting, that's what they want. The issue here is the Wyatt family. They're the problem. They're the reason we're not in the Elimination Chamber. Ambrose basically says he wants to wipe the Wyatt family off the face of the earth. So Vicky Guerrero comes out and basically says she has a great idea, and she's about to make some history. And, of course, make the match that everybody's been talking about since day one. Triple H takes offense to this, comes out, and, of course, sends Vicky to the back. He's going to make an announcement himself. And he cuts Seth Rollins off. He says, let it go, let it go. Yeah, so many Frozen references I can make right now. I guess you could say Rollins was frozen in his tracks when he was trying to talk. Anyway, that's not a request. Roman Reigns with a stare down and basically says, you know what, we're not asking for your approval. We will have this match. Triple H's like, fine, you want this match? Let's do it. So at Elimination Chamber, finally, we're going to get the Shield and the Wyatt family in a 6-man tag. Not in the Chamber like we all wanted, but still going to be at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, so that's awesome. Given the fact that obviously the Shield will be splitting up sooner rather than later, where Roman Reigns goes babyface, even at least this version of the Shield, I really think that Rollins and Ambrose are going to continue with someone else. I don't know exactly who at this point. I've got some ideas, but I don't really want to talk about them yet. So, up next we get my boy Fandango with the gorgeous Summer Rae taking on Xavier Woods, and this feud never ends. It's Fandango basically fighting against Truth and Consequences. Week after week he beats Woods, and he loses the Truth. He beats Woods, and he loses the Truth. I think this week on Raw he needs to beat Truth. Come on, people. Give Fandango something here. So, Woods catches him with a drop kick, and sweeps the leg, Perry Saturn style, 1 count only. Fandango kicks out, off the ropes, gets caught. Nice Ocean Cyclone suplex, 1 count only, and a short arm clothesline, 1 count as well. So he goes for a chin lock, does Fandango, punch out from Xavier Woods, whip in, and he nails the buckle chest first. Roll back into pretty much setting up for Doug Williams' Chaos Theory, but this wheelbarrow gets reversed into a sick facebuster on Fandango. Then 4 stiff jabs and a side headbutt, and he comes off the ropes with a big forearm and a spinning back kick. And the front drop kick sends Fandango to the floor. Tope con hilo by Xavier Woods, and we spot Emma for the first time. I said we continue this, and we are. So Emma comes out, and she's doing her Emma dance, and she's got her sign, which Summer Rae takes from her, and Emma's got another sign the fans go nuts for, and Emma's doing her dance. During this, Xavier Woods goes up top, he gets crotched, and Fandango picks him up, vertical suplex style, and pulls him viciously off the top rope with that Falcon Arrow, which I still need to name, and gets the pinfall. And of course, he attacks after the match is over to try to do it again. Truth gets in the ring, Osaka Street Cutter, and Fandango hits the floor. After the match is over, the Funkadactyls and R-Truth and Xavier Woods dance, as well as Emma getting her signs taken away by Fandango and thrown to the ground. This feud does continue. Once again, I really think that we're building something with Fandango and Summer Rae against Xavier Woods and Emma. But the issue with that is Xavier Woods already has the Funkadactyls, so I don't know if they're going to go that direction or not. Maybe Xavier Woods and Naomi against Fandango and Summer Rae on Raw this week. That's what I would do. Maybe. Fandango needs someone else at this point to work with. Tyler Breeze would be a great person to bring up to work with Fandango, but I don't know if they're going to go that direction or not. It seems too obvious, but hopefully I'm wrong. Our next match, of course, the Nexus relocation program in effect, taking on the Primetime Players. So, this match was interesting. So, Ryback with a boot in the midsection tosses Darren Young to the floor, and basically, when they get back in the ring, he just kicks him straight in the face, meat hook clothesline, tagging to Curtis Axel, hits the hatchet, 1, 2, 3. So at this point, the meat hook bloodied the mouth of Darren Young. Gee, Ryback busted someone open. Big shock there. Titus gets in the ring. Darren Young gets on the mic and says, Titus, we were a team. We're like brothers. Like family. Titus basically takes offense to this. Like, we ain't no family. See, this is the first time I've ever been called a loser, and it's simply because of you. I'm a winner. I've been a winner all my life. I came to the WWE to be the man. To be a champion. But the only way I'm going to do that is if I get rid of the dead weight like you, Darren Young. So, basically trying to get the dead weight off his back is basically what he says. So Titus mows him over the big boot. And the mounted punches and the Primetime Players officially have broken apart. And no more millions of dollars. It's all about Titus O'Neil now. And he basically gets out of the ring, tosses Darren Young into the barricade twice, leaves him laying, and bombs out. He says, you want to talk? Let's talk. So the whole time, he's basically just like browbeating him while he is beating him on the brow. Yeah, I don't like making puns, but it worked for me. Anyway, I like this because what you do in this case at this point, this right here is a great... After he vanquishes Darren Young, and I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen fast. It's going to happen slow. I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit of a build. Maybe Young gets a win, and then it's going to be all Titus. Once Titus vanquishes Darren Young and takes him away, and they don't associate them at all anymore, Titus would be an awesome opponent for Sheamus. I think Sheamus and Titus O'Neil actually did have a match. It was either Raw or SmackDown. I don't recall which one. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it in the past. And I think that this would be a good feud. And when Roman Reigns goes babyface, Titus O'Neil will be a hell of a person to put there. As a matter of fact, I think Titus O'Neil needs a mouthpiece. I think Titus O'Neil might need Paul Heyman. I think this actually might be a way to get Ryback out of the team with Curtis Axel. Potentially. Even though they're not with Paul Heyman anymore. Heyman's got Brock Lesnar. But could you imagine you got Brock on one side and Titus O'Neil on the other side? Heyman would be, I can't say unstoppable, but Heyman would be a lot more formidable in this case. Now, saying Brock Lesnar is not just by himself, that's another story altogether. But when it comes down, when it all boils down to it, I think Titus O'Neil would be a great pickup for Paul Heyman. And I think when Brock's on television, he can be destroying guys. I think that he's going to start destroying people. Titus O'Neil is going to be a monster, and I really think it's about time that Titus got a singles push, and I think this is actually going to be a good thing for everyone. Who knows what they're going to do with Darren Young after this promo's over? I don't think he gets released. I think he's just going to go to a different program. He'll work with someone else. Speaking of promos, and speaking of NXT in this case, Alexander Rusev, of course, coming off his appearance in the Royal Rumble, comes out with Lana and basically speaks Russian. And Lana translates. Rusev hits, Rusev crush. He says his legacy starts now. So Alexander Rusev going to be mauling people on WWE television sooner rather than later. So, I don't have an issue with that either. Not a problem. Our next match, another Elimination Chamber qualifying match. The returning Christian taking on Jack Swagger, the other half of the Real Americans. Now, the thing about this match was Swagger didn't get a ring introduction. Christian got a full one. Does not bode well for Swagger if you're paying attention. So we go midway through the match like we do here on Pop, and Swagger with a Swagger Bomb, 1-2, and a kick out. He steps on Christian's chest and stands on it momentarily. 6 big knees in the corner, and he puts him on the turnbuckle. He climbs up, going for a superplex. He gets punched off, boot in the midsection, swinging tornado DDT on Swagger, 1-2, and Swagger kicks out. So he pushes him into the ropes, charges in. He gets caught with a drop toe hold to the middle rope, and of course the leap over the ropes into the uppercut. So he puts his back across the ropes, and he just jerks back on it like a ricochet effect, kind of like a whiplash, basically is what it is, and goes to the middle ropes, missile drop kick, 1-2, Swagger kicks out. So he nails a spinning back elbow off the middle rope. Boot in, and he goes for the Swagger style Dr. Bomb. The fall away Dr. Bomb, basically, in this case. 1-2, Christian kicks out. So Swagger Bomb again. Christian gets both boots up, connects with the jaw of Jack Swagger. Nails the 180 sunset flip off the middle turnbuckle, 1-2, and a kick out. Ducks the clothesline, and he goes for the unprettier. Gets countered, backdrop, and Christian lands on his feet, comes off the ropes, gets tossed up in the air, elevator down into the Patriot Lock, gets countered in an inside cradle, 1-2, and a kick out. Swagger goes shoulder first into the turnbuckle, and he ends up going for the Kurt Angle style run up the ropes, belly to belly superplex. Christian punches him off, frog splash, 1-2-3. Great return for Christian here, and much needed win, even though a lot of people are saying that Christian is probably going to be 86 out of the Elimination Chamber, courtesy of somebody beating the daylights out of him and taking him out of the match. But hopefully, that could go either way, honestly. I would think that it won't happen, but who knows at this point. With what happened with CM Punk this week, I don't know anything that might happen at this point. So, to say that Damien Sandow has been on a losing streak is kind of an understatement, obviously, since cashing in Money in the Bank, losing to John Cena, and, of course, a babyface turn that never went anywhere. He's been losing on a regular basis, and hopefully they start pushing him soon. He actually doesn't get a ring introduction, but neither does Kofi Kingston. This match is up next. He goes for the side California leg sweep, 1 count only. Whip in, and he misses the charge. Whip in, reverse, and a knee gets a 2 count on Kofi. He goes for the abdominal stretch, putting the elbow into the ribs, and he gets hip tossed out of it. Boot in, sunset flip, and he lands on his feet. Stiff kick on Sandow, and the double chop. The double chop, standing drop kick, and he charges in for the 10 punch. He lands on the ropes, 180 flying body press. He misses, 1-2, and a kick out, and he goes for a spin kick. Trouble in Paradise, finds nothing but the ropes, and he goes for the Terminus, and he gets pushed off, ducks Sandow's clothesline, SOS, 1-2-3, and Kofi Kingston wins this match. It's okay, I guess, just storyline purpose, just an okay match, just continue the losing streak of Damien Sandow. So, there's always that. Semi-main event coming up. Of course, tonight, since this is Monday's video, on Raw, we will be talking about, and Tuesday morning would be the video when it comes out, we'll talk about the steel cage match between the New Age Outlaws defending the WWE Tag Team Championships against the Brotherhood. That led to this match, which, of course, is Cody Rhodes against the Road Dogg. So, Road Dogg basically worked the arm the whole match, playing up the injury that Cody withstood in the absolute demolishing he withstood from Brock Lesnar. So, a whip in and a tip-up sunset flip by Cody like he does so well. 1-2, dog kicks out. Both men collide, go head-to-head, and they bump on the canvas. So, ducks the clothesline, 2 clotheslines from Cody. Whip in, ducks the clothesline, high knee on the Road Dogg, boot in the midsection, drop down uppercut, and the Bob Holly kick. Springboard missile drop kick. Goldust ends up getting caught with a short arm clothesline on the floor, courtesy of Billy Gunn. Billy gets on the ring apron. He gets knocked off, courtesy of the Beautiful Disaster. And Road Dogg rolls him up 1-2 and a kick out. Ducks the clothesline. Road Dogg taken down with the Beautiful Disaster 1-2-3. And Cody Rhodes wins this. After the match is over, Goldust and Billy Gunn brawl on the floor. All 4 men are in the ring. They get tossed, and basically the Outlaws run up the ramp to live again to fight another day. Basically, this is setting up the New Age Outlaws retaining on Raw tonight. So that's what I think is going to happen. So here comes the Shield to the ring for the main event. Of course, the Shield in 6-man tag team action, like oh so well, against Sheamus, Daniel Bryan, and Rey Mysterio. And in this match, of course, they're in the ring, and of course we get the familiar interruption, and the Wyatt family are on the Titantron. Bray says, "I admire your courage. Surely normal men would lose sleep at the thought of dancing with reapers. War and justice, that's y'all's game. I dig it. War, that's my favorite. My soul smiles at the thought of your quivering hands waving these white flags high in the air." Luke Harper talks, which we haven't heard since before they debuted. He says, "You reap what you sow. You 3 boys picked a beautiful hill to die on. See, I would advise you all to be careful inviting the devil into your backyard, because he may just like it and decide to stay. Eric Rowan through the mask says run. in another tremendously creepy promo, courtesy of Bray Wyatt, Eric Rowan, and Luke Harper of the Wyatt family. I love this. Oh my god, the Wyatts and the Shield going at it. Yes, please, sign me up, give me my ticket now, take my money, WWE. So we get our main event, and what a main event it was. Once again, another tremendous six-man tag involving the Shield. Gee, shock, surprise there. We go midway through the match, and Bryan locks on the Mexican surfboard, the La Tapatia on Seth Rollins, into the chin lock, into the Dragon Sleeper, and Mysterio tagged in the ring. Stiff kick, 1-2, Seth kicks out. And he whips him in. He goes to the whip, and he blocks it in. Boot in the midsection, whip in, charges in, catches the boot, and middle rope into the Snap Rana by Rey Mysterio, satellite, and tag into Dean Ambrose. Ambrose catches him with the satellite into a facebuster, 1-2, and a kick out, tagging to Roman Reigns. He comes in, and they wishbone Mysterio. Big time overhand right, 1-2, and a kick out. He lawn darts him under the bottom rope to the floor, and he tosses him hard into the barricade, tosses him back in, and 1 count only. Tagging to Seth Rollins, he nails a knee drop, high knee drop off the ropes, 1-2, and a kick out. So he locks on a chin lock, puts him on the turnbuckle backwards, and of course, he's setting up for the belly-to-back superplex. Climbs up, Mysterio punches him off, and he gets caught anyway with an electric chair, which gets turned around into a Rana, sending him face first into the middle turnbuckle. Hot tag to Daniel Bryan, so Roman Reigns tagged in as well. So he drop kicks Ambrose off the ring apron after he ducks the clothesline of Roman Reigns. Stiff kick, whip in, and of course, you know the spot, reverse backflip. Bryan lands on his feet, ducks Roman's clothesline, and nails a hooking clothesline. And then the yes kicks. He goes for the buzzsaw. Roman ducks it, and he charges in. Roman Reigns, low bridge. He goes over the top rope to the floor. Bryan nails the tope on Roman Reigns, and he ducks Seth Rollins' clothesline back in the ring and nailing a tope onto Dean Ambrose as well. Sheamus with the Irish Curse backbreaker on Seth Rollins, and he pays for it by the Superman punch from Roman Reigns. Bryan with a missile drop kick on Roman, 1-2, and a kick out. Goes for the yes lock. Dean Ambrose with a well-placed stomp right to the back of the neck, and he gets dragged to the floor courtesy of Sheamus. While they're trying to jockey for position, Sheamus ends up going shoulder first into the post, and this allows for Sheamus to just get ticked off and Brogue kick Ambrose's head off. Tag in Array, goes up top, seated senton, and he ducks Roman's clothesline. Drop kick, lands him on the ropes, of course, setting up for the 619, and he drop kicks Seth Rollins off the ring apron when he tries to get ready to interfere. Bryan nails the knee off the ring apron onto Seth Rollins, and there's a boot in the midsection from Roman Reigns, picks him up for a powerbomb. Mysterio lands on his feet, drop kicks the knee, he lands on the ropes, he goes off the ropes, setting up for the 619, and BAM! Runs into a brick wall, that spear from Roman Reigns, and that's all she wrote. 1, 2, 3, the Shield win yet again, and Mysterio left motionless in the center of the ring. Great main event. Great main event. So, very enjoyable as we head on to Elimination Chamber, which is only a couple of weeks away now, since we're now in February. So, what do we got coming out of this? Antonio Cesaro and Christian are now in the Elimination Chamber. I have zero problems with this. Hopefully Cesaro, this will start his eventual babyface monster push somewhere down the line. We have the Shield and the Wyatt family. That's all you need to say. It's going to be phenomenal. Fandango and Summer Rae continuing the war with Truth and Consequences, and apparently Emma as well is now thrown into this. The Nexus Relocation Program get a win over Darren Young, since Titus was never in the ring, and Darren Young bites the bullet and gets turned on by his partner, so no more primetime players. I'm sure they're going to have a match either tonight on Raw or Friday night on SmackDown. It might be a one-off and Titus just squashes him, but I doubt it. I think they'll go a different direction here. So, yeah, nice to see Christian back. Like I said, a very deserved win over Jack Swagger. Really good match back and forth. Sandow continues to lose. That storyline will continue. So, I'm sure Alan appreciates Kofi's push. So, we have the cage match tonight, and Cody had to get the win. And, of course, that means the Outlaws are going to retain the titles tonight. And a great six-man tag ends the show, just like I always say on SmackDown videos. So, that was NXT and SmackDown for this week. Wrestling fans, join me tomorrow for Monday Night Raw, we'll be talking Raw, and of course, we're going to be talking NXT and Smackdown, as well as Impact later in the week. I don't know what days yet, but they're going to be later in the week. And that's still to come. A lot of awards content still to come. We still have our Oscar predictions. They're coming up soon, very soon. We have some romance-themed verses coming up on the Sundays, obviously. AJ's movie reviews this week. We're going to be talking about The Monuments Men, the Lego Movie, and Vampire Academy. That's going to be, and of course, on Thursday, very happy to say we're going to be doing a fitting tribute to the life and the career of Philip Seymour Hoffman. Very much looking forward to that. I'm going to be able to say some things I've not been able to say on camera, so yeah, we're going to be able to get my feelings out there, which is something I'm very excited about. So, that being said, once again, thank you guys and girls out there for watching. And last but certainly not least, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, do subscribe, and help spread the word about Pop. If you'd like to like our Facebook fan page, it's Sir Owen Disney Pop. If you want to friend me on Facebook, go right ahead. Owen Disney, very simple, very easy to find. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, it's at Sir Owen Disney. And last but certainly not least, if you want to send your thoughts, comments, queries, and opinions about Pop, things you want to see on Pop, things you don't like on Pop, ideas for verses, ideas for segments, just ideas plain, anything you'd like to send me, you can send all sorts of opinions, anything you want, you're more than welcome to. Shoot me an email, SirOwenDisney@gmail.com. In the meantime, thank you guys and girls out there for watching, and until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I gotta say about that.